The night sky broke open like glass dot. It was quiet just moments before. The wind was soft over the high mountain trees. Snow fell lightly over Mara's cabin, and the fire inside her small home crackled gently. She was sharpening her hunting knife when she saw the flash. A sharp blue light tore across the sky, followed by a thunder-like sound that made the trees shake. Mara stepped outside. Her breath came out in clouds as she looked up. Above the mountains, something large and burning was falling fast, too fast. It was not a shooting star. It wasn't a plane. It was something from far beyond the earth. It slammed into the forest valley below with a loud crash. The ground rumbled. Birds scattered. Then everything went silent again. Mara stood still. Her hands were cold. Her face showed no fear. But in her heart, something old and buried started to wake. It had been 5 years since the war began. 5 years since the aliens came. No one had believed the stories at first. Ships the size of cities. Creatures designed to kill. Weapons that burned oceans. But the truth came quickly. Humanity was not alone and not welcome. The alien empire had declared Earth a hunting ground. They didn't just want land. They wanted to test us, so they sent their perfect killers. The Velkri. The Velkri were giant living weapons, 15 feet tall, stronger than tanks. They could jump through trees, track heartbeats, tear through steel. They were made to destroy humans. They were smart, fast, and loyal only to the Empire. Mara had seen one once before. In the early days of the war, her village had tried to fight. Her husband was one of the last defenders. She remembered his body torn apart like paper. She remembered holding her stomach, feeling the baby inside her stop moving from the shock. She remembered the sound the Velkri made, half scream, half roar. She had not cried that day. She had only run. Now she lived in the mountains, alone. She hunted animals, grew vegetables, and avoided the world. Most humans were gone or hiding. Cities were dead. But she had survived, and now, something had fallen again. Something big. Mara put on her thick coat. She picked up her rifle and axe. Then she walked into the cold, toward the crash site. The trail of destruction was easy to follow. Trees had snapped like sticks. The snow was melted in places. There were strange marks in the ground, like claws, like heavy feet. And then she saw the blood. But it wasn't red. It was purple, glowing slightly. Alien. She moved slowly, carefully, her gun ready. Then she found the crater. It was deep and wide, full of smoke and broken metal. A small ship lay in pieces. Alien writing glowed on the side. Part of it was still burning. And, in the center, half covered in snow and mud, was a body. Mara froze. It was a Velkri. But it was different than the one she had seen years ago. This one was younger. Its body was wounded. Its silver skin was torn. Its eyes were closed. And most shocking of all, its belly was round, pregnant. A 15-foot-tall alien girl, carrying life. Mara lifted her rifle. She had a clear shot. The war had taken her family, her home, her child. This creature was built to kill. One bullet could end it now. But something stopped her. The girl groaned. Her arms moved slowly, weakly. She wasn't reaching for a weapon. She was holding her stomach, protecting it. She was in pain, alone, cold. She opened her eyes, bright blue, full of fear. Mara didn't pull the trigger. Instead, she stepped closer. The alien's mouth moved. She whispered something in a soft, broken voice. One word, Voralu. Then she fainted. Mara stood there a long time. Then she dropped her rifle. And got to work. Dragging a 15-foot-tall alien was not easy. Mara used ropes, wood, and an old sled. It took her hours to pull the girl through snow and trees. Her arms ached. Her legs shook. But she didn't stop. By the time they reached the cabin, night had fallen. She laid the girl near the fire, covered her in thick blankets, cleaned her wounds. She used her sharpest needle to sew the deep cuts. The alien groaned in her sleep, but didn't wake. Mara sat beside her all night. She didn't know why she was helping. Maybe it was madness. Maybe it was mercy. Or maybe she just remembered what it felt like to lose a child. Dan didn't want anyone else to feel that again. The next morning, the alien was still breathing. Days passed. The girl healed slowly. Her skin closed like magic, smooth and fast. Her eyes stayed on Mara, always watching. She didn't speak. She didn't smile. She didn't eat at first. But Mara left food beside her bed anyway. Soup, goat milk, berries. After 3 days, the bowls started coming back empty. Progress. On the 4th day, the alien tried to stand. She wobbled, fell, But Mara helped her up. She placed a strong hand on the alien's arm and said clearly, "You are safe." The alien nodded slowly, then placed a hand on her own stomach. "Voraluna," she said again, more clearly. Mara touched her chest. "Mara," she said. And that was how they started. Weeks passed, the snow began to melt. The forest came alive again. Lyra, that was the alien girl's name, began to speak in simple words. She helped gather firewood. She learned how to milk goats. Mara taught her how to plant seeds and sharpen tools. In return, Lyra showed Mara how to build traps that made no sound, how to sense heat from animals, how to listen to the sky. And every night, they sat by the fire. Sometimes they talked. Sometimes they sat in silence, but they sat together. "Not alone. Not anymore," Mara asked once. "Why did they send you here?" Lyra's eyes darkened. She spoke slowly. Lyra ... refused command. Would not kill humans. Empire sent Lyra to disappear. She placed both hands on her belly. Because of Voraluna, Lyra wanted peace. Mara understood. The Empire had sent her here to die, but she had landed in the wrong place. She had landed near a human who had nothing left but still chose to help. One night, Lyra screamed in pain. It was time, the baby was coming. Mara acted fast. She boiled water, laid blankets, held Lyra's hands. The labor was long and wild. The cabin shook. Lyra roared like thunder. But Mara never left her side. After hours of pain, the child came. Small, shining, breathing. A baby, not a weapon, not a soldier, just a child. Lyra held her and wept. Mara smiled for the first time in years. They named her Voraluna, and in that quiet cabin, high in the cold mountains, a new family was born. But the Empire was not done. Far above Earth, another ship moved into orbit. They had found the crash signal. They had seen the birth through drone eyes. They were coming to finish the job. And this time, they wouldn't send one. They'd send an army. Mara woke to the sound of a deep hum. It was low at first, like wind under the earth, but then it grew louder. The sound shook her wooden cabin and made the metal tools on the wall rattle. The fire flickered. Outside, the animals stirred in fear. She stepped out into the cold dawn. In the sky above the mountains, 4 dark shapes floated like shadows. Not birds, not clouds. Drones. Big ones. Fast and silent. Alien. They had arrived. The Empire had found them. Mara's heart beat hard in her chest. She turned quickly and ran back inside. Lyra was already awake. She was standing over her child. Voraluna, who was wrapped in soft fur, sleeping in a small bed of straw. Lyra's glowing blue eyes were hard now, focused, ready. "There, here," Mara said. Lyra nodded once. She moved fast, pulling on her armor, sharpening a strange silver blade she had built from broken metal over the last few weeks. Her strong hands moved with skill. This wasn't the weak, wounded girl Mara had once saved. This was a warrior, a mother, and she would fight. "We can run," Mara said. Lyra shook her head. "They won't stop," she answered. "Not until we are gone." Mara knew she was right. The Empire didn't forgive disobedience. They had sent Lyra here to die quietly. But she had lived. She had given birth. And worst of all, she had made peace with the human. To the Empire. That was betrayal. To Mara, it was hope. Lyra turned to her and said in her broken voice, "You run? Take child, I stay." Mara stepped forward, face firm. "No," she said. "We fight." Lyra looked at her. For a second, she seemed confused. Mara placed her hand on her chest. "My child died," she said softly. "But yours lived. And now, she's mine too." Lyra's eyes filled with emotion. No more words were needed. Together, they began to prepare. They worked fast. In silence, Lyra used alien tech to create heat traps in the trees. Mara set up tripwires, small bombs, and sharp spikes hidden under snow. The mountain became a maze of danger. The cabin was no longer a home. It was a battlefield. Voraluna was placed deep inside the root cellar, under the cabin, surrounded by layers of rock and thick blankets. Safe, warm, protected. Above, the hunters waited. And then the sky screamed. The drones dropped in fast, 4 of them, shaped like giant metal insects, arms sharp as blades, red lights flashing. They moved with perfect speed. No fear, no mercy. The first one landed in the snow. Boom. Mara fired her rifle. The shot hit the drone's side and made it spin, confused. Then a trap went off fire. and rock blasted it from below. It roared and tumbled backward. The second drone flew low toward the cabin roof. Illyra leaped from the trees, her silver blade flashing. She slashed its eye sensor, then drove her fist into its chest. The drone sparked and fell, but the fight wasn't over. 2 more drones arrived, stronger, smarter. They split up. One went for Mara, the other charged straight toward the cabin. Mara turned fast, ducked a laser beam, and threw a grenade. It exploded, but the drone was only pushed back. It came again, faster. She ran into the forest, drawing it away. The drone followed. Mara ran between trees, dodging blasts, breathing hard. Her legs burned. Her coat caught fire, but she kept going. She led it straight into a pit covered in leaves. The drone stepped on the trap. The ground opened. It fell. Mara stood at the edge and dropped a fuel bomb into the pit. Boom. Gone. She didn't smile. She just turned and ran back. Illyra was fighting. The last drone in front of the cabin. The machine was bigger than the others. It had 4 arms. It grabbed her by the shoulder and slammed her into a tree. She cried out but didn't fall. Illyra stood again. Her blade was gone. Her arms were bleeding, but her eyes burned with fire. The drone raised a glowing blade to strike. Then a sharp shot rang out. Mara had returned. The bullet hit the drone's neck, joint its weak spot. The head spun and fell. The drone crashed to the ground. Dead. Silence returned to the mountain. Only snow fell. Mara dropped her rifle and ran to Illyra. She was hurt, her arm twisted, her chest cut, but she was alive. They looked at each other, breathing hard. Then, from far above, a shadow moved in the sky. Another ship. This one was bigger. Illyra's eyes widened. No more soldiers, she said. This one is different. Mara watched the shape land slowly beyond the trees. The earth shook. It wasn't here to fight. It was here to speak. Mara and Illyra walked together through the forest, past broken drones, past fire and smoke. Toward the ship, it was smooth and black, humming with soft blue light. No weapons aimed at them. Just silence. The door opened. A tall alien stepped out. Not like the Velkri, thinner, older, wearing robes, not armor. His face was calm. His voice spoke in the Velkri tongue. Illyra answered. They talked for a long time. Mara stood still, holding her axe, watching closely. Then Illyra turned to her. He is commander of thought. He watched. He knows we made peace, he says. Empire is changing. Mara blinked. What? Illyra nodded. He wants to see the child. Mara frowned. Why? Illyra hesitated. To understand. They returned to the cabin. The commander followed, but kept distance. He removed his gloves. No weapons. No threats. Voraluna was awake. Her eyes were bright blue. Her small hands moved in the air. The commander looked at her for a long time. Then, something strange happened. He smiled, very softly. He turned to Illyra and said something. She translated. He says, this child is not war. This child is future. Mara didn't know what to say. She just looked at the child and nodded. That night, the commander left. No bombs, no fire. Just peace. Before going, he told Illyra one last thing. You were the test, and she had passed. Weeks passed. Spring came. The forest bloomed again. No more drones arrived. No more ships. The war was not over. But something had changed. The Empire had seen something new. A bond that was not made of fear. A future that was not built on destruction. Mara still hunted. Illyra still trained. But now, they smiled more. They taught Voraluna to walk, to speak, to laugh. A human and an alien. 2 mothers. 1 child, 1 family. High in the mountains, far from cities and empires. Peace had found a place to live. And it had started with a simple act. Not of power, but of mercy.